Just saying, begin says that I will be true. Every time when it comes to Q&A, very often I need to struggle a little bit. Not struggling about answering the question, but struggling about how I should present to you the answer. A lot of times I thought about just answer it plain and simple. So you happy, I off the hook. And there's no need for any kind of tension. But at the same time, when it comes to a question that was given, very often I look at the question, I try to see if there's anything beyond the question itself that I consider, that concerns me. That concerns me. So a lot of times I say more. I say more than just question itself. Because I don't know, maybe by being so mean and perhaps that will help whoever asks questions to see beyond, to see more clear about themselves why they ask certain questions. Okay? So intention is never to be mean or to embarrass anyone. I always try to see that is there a way to help you and I to see ourselves more clear. Okay? So please, if I have offended you in any way, it's never my intention. Okay? I got something to say also about what is a supplement. It's a supplement about the previous Q&A section about Mary in the chapel. I think that's the question number 2, right? And the question is very interesting that since the church is not referred to the physical building, it's the gathering of the members. What would it make any differences whether to hold the marriage in the chapel or not, as long as you have a pastor to officiate the wedding? According to the USGA by law, as a pastor, we will not officiate for you. If it's outside the church, we will not. Under only one exception, that there is no church around your area. Okay? If there is no church around your area, like you are in the middle of nowhere, that they just no church, that then that's a special case. But if there is a church, a TJC chapel, there's a TJC chapel, but you, for any reason, that you could, but you choose not to. You could, but you choose not to. Then we cannot perform benediction for you. We will not. We cannot perform benediction for you. Blessing. Okay? So that was the USGA guideline for pastor. So that's number 1. The first thing that you need to know is you do not just say, oh, I don't like this chapel. Oh, I like this place or that place. The chances are we will not be able to help you too much about it. Okay? Second, why? Why would you choose somewhere else other than the house of God? You might say, but church is not the building. Once the chapel, this physical chapel, yes, you are right. Church is not the building. Yes, you are right. The church is not the building. Church is you. You are the church. However, that doesn't mean church is you doesn't mean the chapel is junk or useless. Physical, carnal, secular. No. You have to remember the building has been dedicated. Okay? It has been dedicated. So even the church is not the physical building, but you doesn't mean that this building means nothing. It has been dedicated in 2 Chronicles when Solomon dedicated the holy temple to God. This is what God said to him. Verse 16. For now I have chosen and sanctified this house, which is the holy temple of Solomon, that was built by Solomon. Here says that, for now I have chosen and sanctified this house, that my name may be there forever, and my eyes and my heart will be there perpetually. Okay, so please do remember that after the building has been dedicated, sanctified, and offered to God, the eyes and the heart of the Lord is in here perpetually. Okay, so please do not go extreme. Just because now you learn, the church is not the building, doesn't mean that you get to trash the church as nothing. Okay, please do not go to the extreme. Okay, so that's something that I would like to bring to your attention. Okay, now in the name of Lord Jesus Christ, we shall spend the remaining time to continue to study about Gideon. So this morning, we talk about the calling of Gideon. Okay, Gideon was called, and several times the Bible called him the mighty man. Mighty man. Okay? This is a very interesting mighty man, because from his action, we actually see that he is very timid, very fearful. Okay? I will further elaborate upon that. But the Bible keep on calling him, the angel keep on calling him, you mighty man, you mighty man. Okay? Perhaps in the eyes of the Lord, the definition for mighty man, might be very different than the way that you think. Okay? In our perspective, mighty man is fear for nothing, wrong, who's Rainbow, right? Rainbow, right? Like that's okay. Sorry, that's not your generation. That's like 40 years ago. The movie from 40 years ago. Okay, one guy with a bow can enter into Vietnam and destroy the whole army. Yeah, whatever. American heroic movie. So, in our perspective, hero or mighty man means that you fear for nothing, you deal with everything, you tough up in all situations, you beat your enemy, you never quit, you never withdraw, you never bend your back. Okay? But if we look at the Bible, when the Bible when the angel come and call Gideon, he did not have any possession of the image of the superhero that you have in mind. He was bending his back, working as a farmer, hiding at the corner, afraid of the enemy. But the Bible, when the Bible records about Gideon, the first thing is, you mighty man. You mighty man. So mighty man is not about fear for nothing. Mighty man is about, in all circumstances, we continue. I continue. Okay? It's a spirit that I never give up. I continue. Okay? Even the world is standing against me. Even many people give up and walk away. If it's right thing to do, I continue. It happened to the three friends of Daniel when everyone else bowed on the ground in front of the golden image of King Nebuchadnezzar. Only three of them standing there like a fool. Seriously, when everybody bow on the floor and bow on the ground and three of you stand there, it makes them very embarrassed and awkward. Why? You standing out. You are marking by your peer who are on the ground and say, you are so dead. And you facing your boss, King Nebuchadnezzar, who look at you and say, you are dead. And then you turn around, you see the fire waiting for you, the furnace waiting for you. You think that standing there is a fun thing to do for the three friends of Daniel? Of course, you can say, oh, they are so powerful, so brave, so this and so that. They are just like a common people like you and I. They get afraid as well. However, the true hero is not that they never fear for anything. The true hero is they are afraid but they persist in what they should. And they continue knowing they might pay a price. Okay? So the three friends of Daniel, Jesus Christ, when he cleansed the temple, same thing. He overturned the table of the money exchanger. He cast out all the animals. You think that people are happy about it? No. The merchant hates him. The priest hates him. Even the people hate him. Why? It make it more inconvenient for them to make an offering now. Okay? So nobody likes it. But you do what you have to do. That's called hero. Okay? So this morning we talk about three things. The question that Gideon asked: why did this happen? Why this happened to us? We call that examination. But instead of examining others, it's a self-examination. Why? Why this happened? Second, who am I to take on the baton? Okay? So, examination, self-assessments, okay? And number three, do not depart from me. Reliance. Okay? This is the beginning of a mighty warrior of the Lord. You need to figure out why things happen in your life before you are able to gather your courage and make a differences. The problem in our generation today is that you are unaware that the way you live your life is wrong or need to be changed. Okay? I'm not saying you. I'm saying in general. Okay, in general. If you do not feel there is something wrong in your life, would you even bother changing it? No, you won't. Israelites, they were enslaved in Egypt. And Moses, after the 10th plague, and opened the Red Sea, eventually led them out of the land of Egypt, right? You all know this story. What is the key reason that the Israelites were able to leave this land of slavery? What is the key factor? The reason that they were able to leave. You can say because of Moses. You can say because of the 10th plague. You can say because God helped them. You can say because divide the Red Sea. You can say many, many things. And the answer are all wrong. The only reason that the Israelites were able to leave Egypt is recorded in Exodus chapter 1. They say, the Bible says, they feel their life is painful. They say that the Bible says that they feel the life as a slave is bitter. Bitter. And because of this, they cry to the Lord. And because of this, the Lord say, I heard, I see, I'm coming down, I will save. Okay? So it all begins where? It all begins when you feel that life is bitter. It's bitter to be a slave. It's bitter to live in Egypt. That's why that initiates the desire to leave this land of slavery. If the Israelites, they love to be a slave. They love to be a slave. Wow, you know what? Slave is the best job. Let me tell you, you get to eat for free. Okay? Slavery. And every morning, you get to push those big blocks. Exercise. Wow. Muscle. And when people whip at you, and you say, good, what does not kill me, make me stronger? All right? You know what? If they enjoy, if you enjoy to be in a life of slavery in Egypt, then you know what? nothing will happen because you don't want it. You don't want to leave Egypt. You love to be a slave. Then nothing else will happen for you. Only at the moment when you realize that this is terrible, being controlled by the temptation of the world, being ruled over by Satan, being choked on the throat by social media, being lead being lead with a nose ring like the horse or a cow by your friends. You come here, you go there. Only when you realize that that's not the life that you want. That's the beginning of transformation. Okay? So, when you do that, the next question that you ask, who am I? Who am I to serve the Lord? He said that my family is small and I am the least among my family. Humility. Humble yourself in front of the Lord. Examine yourself in front of the Lord and humble yourself in front of the Lord. The moment when you say to yourself, I can do it. It's my might. It's my ability. So the holy work is done and complete. That's the moment that glory is deprived, taken away from you. Remember what happened to Nebuchadnezzar? He said that, look at this great Babylon. Is it not my might that make it happen? And then the voice immediately happened that immediately say to him, Nebuchadnezzar, your glory has been taken away from you. Okay? So the moment when you realize that you are nobody is the moment that the Lord will say, I can make you somebody. But when you feel that it's I, then the Lord say, we will see. Okay? So that's how it is. Number 3, he said to the angel, please do not depart, reliance. However, you have to remember, he said, don't leave here. And then he said what? Let me bring you some present, some gift. Okay? So in order for you to have the abundance of God, make sure that you are able to bear fruit, to show your determination. Talk is cheap. You have to show God you are seriously trying very hard. You meant to change the way you conduct your life. Okay? So that's the mighty man. And if we continue, let's go to Judges chapter 6, verse 25. Judges chapter 6, verse 25. Now it came to pass the same night that the Lord said to him, take your father's young bull, the second bull of 7 years old, and tear down the altar of Baal that your father has, and cut down the wooden image that is beside it. And build an altar to the Lord your God on top of the rock in the proper arrangement. And take the second bull and offer a burnt offering with the wood of the image which you shall cut down. All right? Now, number 4, action. Action. Okay? So now you try to find out why. Now you try to find out who, and you ask for God's abundance. You did all this, but please remember, you need to carry into your true action. A determination without execution of action is useless. In one of the SSC, there was a young brother who has gave a lot of headache to the parents. He used to be good, but as he grew older, that he was influenced by the peer in school, so he engaged not only himself were so bonded by video games, but he also involved into heavy metal music. Okay? So the parents are very concerned because he doesn't want to come to church, he doesn't want to read Bible, he doesn't want to attend SSC. But in that SSC, I don't know what kind of arrangement or agreement that the parents made with him. They dropped him in the church. Okay? They left him in the church for the SSC. At the first few days, that he was very uncomfortable, very angry child. All right? He wanted to play video game. He was very addicted. Video game, heavy metal, do not like the church, do not like to pray. But hey, since he was here. Okay? But after a few days, after a few days of prayer, he started to change. Upon the end, close to the end of at the end of SSC, that he said to the counselor that he did realize that he was blinded by Satan and his heart was trapped by the world. He was only in junior high. He was trapped by Satan, blind by Satan and trapped by the world. And he said he really need to change his life. I mean, that's not the first time I heard students saying that. But this is the first time. This is the first time that I got a phone call from the mother a few days after SSC. And the mother wanted to find out what happened in SSC because the child came home, became a different person. The mother told me that the first night that he came back from SSC, he locked himself in the room for a long while until the mother was concerned. So the mother was knocking on the door and trying to figure out what happened, opened the door and realized that he was cleaning his room, which is shocking. But he was not just like cleaning for the sanitation reason. He was actually with those black trash bag, like the big trash bag, and then he was toasting all his CDs of heavy metals and everything like in a big bag, and then tied it up. And not only that, his mother told me that after he put everything into those trash bags and rechecked the room and make sure that none of them left, he actually dragged that bag, not in the houses, those are big dumpster, he dragged it all the way to the community's dumpster, where everybody dumped their trash in there. So after some effort, he finally got the bag over into those big dumpsters. And his mother asked him why. You know, that you can just leave in the house's dumpster, we'll just pull it out at the end of the week. And he said no. He said no. He said that if I leave it in the house's trash can, maybe tomorrow I change my mind, I go and dig them back. But when I toss it into the communities where there are trash everywhere and there are disgusting things everywhere, he said the chance for me to crawl in there, going through all different bags of trash and try to locate my CD is close to impossible. He said he would leave no room for himself to go back to the old way. That was his determination. And until today, he's working now. Adult, graduated, working in the church, serving, and married. Okay? So what I'm saying is, it's a determination abide by action. You don't just talk, I will do this and that. You do not just form your determination in here without any proper action to execute after you go home. Otherwise, you'll be a waste of time. So while you are still in here, touching by the Holy Spirit, re-examining the way that you live your life, contemplate upon your relationship with your parents. And there's a small voice saying to you that it's time for you to change. Then you need to ask yourself, what am I going to do? And make sure that you do it. Okay? So the next thing that we realize that he did a terrible thing. He actually took his father's, not only the bull, but also the idol, and chopped them to pieces. Bull is possession. Idol, the image, is the belief. So he took, expense, huh? He took the father's bull and also took the father's idol and used the idol, cut the idols to pieces and used that to burn the bull and make a sacrifice to the Lord. Action. But if you read verse 27 now, so Gideon took 10 men from among his servants and did as the Lord has said to him. But because he feared his father's household and the men of the city too much to do it by day, he did it by night. Again, not very heroic, isn't it? This is just different than what we think in our mind as a hero. We can call him, you little faith. How come? God is there for you already. God is helping you. Why are you so cowardly? Why are you so afraid? Why are you doing everything by night? Yeah, easy for you to say. But the thing is, he did it. Whether he is afraid or not, he did it anyway. That's why the Bible called him a mighty man. Number one, it's very easy for you to point your finger and condemn others to be cowards. Okay? Because you are not in his position. You are not in Gideon's position. So it's very easy to say to others, hey, you need to tough up. You need to trust in God. You need to rely. You need to pray. You know, it's very easy when you are not the person involved. That's the first thing that you need to remember. It's easy to say and point finger about others. Second, the true hero, again, the true mighty man is not about fearless. It's about persistent in the right direction, even in great fear. Even in great fear. You are afraid, but you know this is the right thing to do. So even you are shaking, trembling, tear falling on your cheek, and you say, but I'm doing this anyway. For this is the right in the eyes of the Lord. That's called mighty man, mighty woman. Okay. All right, so this is what we see from here. Of course, the next morning after they realized that the temple has been torn down, the image has been chopped to pieces, the people in the city, the household were very angry, and they found out that Gideon did it. So what did they say? They say, kill him. Let's kill Gideon. He destroyed your idol. He destroyed your image. But unexpectedly, his father spoke up for him. Okay? This is the least person that he expects help to come from. You have to remember, Gideon was not the only son. He's not like, oh, you are my only son. I will do anything to protect you. Gideon got other siblings. And he even said, out of my household, I was the least. Okay? So perhaps that the tribal leader, the father, was the last person that he expected to help, that will help him. But everything is in the control of God. So out of impossible, God can bring you help as long as you have the courage to do the right thing. Okay? All right. So we are done with this part. The mighty men who hide. The mighty men who did things at night. The mighty men who are always afraid. But the Bible called him, the angel called him, you mighty man. All right? We still have a few minutes. Still got 5 minutes. So we will continue. We will go on a little more. This is the 300. Okay? So we will touch upon this a little since we only have a few minutes. And this is a very commonly shared topic. Let's go to chapter 7. Okay? Choosing the warrior. Choosing the warrior. Okay? Chapter 7 now. Chapter 7, in verse 2, there are people who follow him and ready to battle the enemy. Chapter 7, verse 2, the Lord said to Gideon, the people who are with you are too many for me to give the Midianites into their hand. Lest Israel claim glory for itself against me, saying, my own hand has saved me. Now therefore proclaim in the hearing to the people, saying, whoever is fearful and afraid, let him turn and depart at once from Mount Gilead. And 22,000 of the people returned, and 10,000 remained. Okay? They are facing a vast army, and they only have 32,000 people, which is not a lot. It's not a lot to begin with. But even this, that the Lord said, too many. So if you are afraid, fearful, you can leave. So 22,000 left. And they are down to 10,000. But even 10,000, the Lord said too many. So at the end, they are down to 300. Okay? From drinking water. Okay? So the Lord actually arranged two different tests or requirements to filter 32,000 down to only 300. That at the end, defeat the entire enemy. So, when they are choosing worker, when they are fighting a war, fighting the battle, the Lord said to them that those who are fearful, okay, for those who are fearful and afraid, let him go home, let him return, depart. Okay. So in here, this fear is different than what we said earlier about the fear of Gideon. The fear of Gideon is that I know what to do. I am afraid. I go on and do it anyway. But in here, this 22,000 is I am called to serve. I am afraid. Now I have a chance. I need to leave and I go home. Okay? So even they are physically in a group, but their mindset is not in the battlefield. It's not in the war. They want to leave. They want to go home. The danger is when you are in a warfare and your companion are ready to turn their back upon you and run away, the chance for you to win the battle is close to impossible. Fighting the spiritual battle is not a one-man war. You cannot win the spiritual battle just by one person. You need companion, but you need companion who are facing the same direction, having the same mindset as you. For those who are afraid, let him leave. Okay? The choice has been given. So, brothers and sisters, the church call upon you to serve. It is your decision. It is your decision whether you will stay and fight or you will leave and run. Okay? You might live for another day, but your name might be taken away from the eternal book. Okay? So, number one, since you are in here already, your heart should not be about let me go home. Okay? And second, the way, you know this story by heart, inside out already, about how you should not, those who fetching the water and leak it is the one that was chosen. Right? So, from, oops. All right. All right. Sorry, I have to end the thing here. What I want to cover is a little bit too much for now. So we will continue tomorrow. We will drill more into the selection of the 300 and how they engage in the warfare with the Midianites. Okay? All right, let's all bow and praise silence. Amen.